As Americans, we are constantly struggling to find trust in others. Our politicians make promises that are not being fulfilled, and our American businesses are increasingly being hacked. There is a new technology that can redesign our democracy, a technology that would hold politicians accountable to the citizens, a technology that will create a greater trust between people. This technology exists today, and it's called the blockchain. The blockchain is an innovative change in American society. Today, I will be informing you about the elements of the blockchain and how the blockchain will affect our society. First, let's discuss the elements of the blockchain. The blockchain is an internet-based and decentralized technology. The blockchain is often referred to as a record book. For example, take two fictional characters, Bob and Sue. If Bob were to give Sue a dollar bill, she would typically record this in her record book. But with the blockchain, that changes. With the blockchain, this transaction is recorded amongst millions of computers worldwide. Vincent Alcazar, a colonel for the Department of Defense who researched blockchain in his journal in 2017, stated that people will broadcast out transactions to millions of computers worldwide. These transactions will then be listed, and once there's a certain set number of transactions, they create a block. Transactions can be things like currency, but they can also be products like art and music. According to Don Tapscott, a business executive and speaker who specializes in business strategy, in his TED Talks in June 2016, said that these blocks are then linked together on an internet. Another fundamental of the blockchain is that it's decentralized. Jesse Yulihumo, a postdoctoral researcher at Aalto University, stated in his journal in October 2016 that the blockchain's goal is to create a decentralized technology where there are no third parties involved. That is important for security reasons. For example, let's look at a centralized system. A centralized system would be a system like our government. According to Julie Davis, a reporter for the New York Times, in her article in July 2015, the US government was hacked, and almost 15 years of anyone who had received government background check was affected by this hacking. This would have been avoidable if the system was decentralized. That is one reason, or that is another fundamental of the blockchain. Now that I've discussed the fundamentals of the blockchain, let's discuss the uses it has in our society. One of the first uses it has is for content creators. Don Tapscott, as I mentioned earlier, in his TED Talks in June 2016, he reported that musicians will be greatly affected by the blockchain. If a musician creates a song, they will be able to put that sound on the blockchain. This sound is free to the public, or maybe a few microcents. But if somebody wants to use that sound as a ringtone, that is different. If somebody wants to use that sound in a movie, that is also different. And the costs and the rights to the sound are all specified on the blockchain. This kind of turns the sound into a business. It's out there marketing itself and bringing in revenue. And instead of powerful intermediaries, that music, all the funds from the music go directly to the artist instead of people like Spotify and Pandora. Don Tapscott also stated that this is not just for musicians, it's for any creator of content. So people like artists, journalists, inventors, and scientific discoverers will be affected by the blockchain. Besides content creators being affected, it will also change our American voting system. We live in a world where driverless vehicles are being developed daily, and yet our American voting system is the equivalent of the horse and buggy. The blockchain will change our voting system the way that autonomous vehicles are changing our transportation system. According to Jacob Devani, a political reporter for the Huffington Post, in his article in October of 2017, stated that with our voting system on the blockchain, policies will be formed by peer-reviewed data. That means that the people will actually get to influence the legislation that's being passed. This gives back the power to the people to have to affect the legislation that will happen during their lifetime. Besides those two reasons for the blockchain will affect our society, there are many others. Today, I have discussed the fundamentals of the blockchain and how the blockchain will affect our society. The blockchain is an innovative change in our society. Although it's a relatively new technology, it holds vast potential for our society.